Good evening, and welcome to the St. Petersburg By Night podcasting network. Tonight, we present to you our Vampire the Masquerade chronicle, Bloody Strings.
Welcome to another St. Pete by Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes or be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to St. Pete by Night, where we play St. Petersburg by Night, a massive multiplayer tabletop role-playing game set in the world of darkness. We play Vampire the Masquerade, Hunter the Reckoning, and Werewolf the Apocalypse. I am your humble storyteller this evening, Beara the Bard, and I am one of many junior storytellers here at St. Pete by Night. Make sure to check out St. Pete by Night on all social media platforms. That includes X, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. But you should really check out our website, stpetebynight.com. We have our city map, storyteller profiles, and a one-of-a-kind threat meter. If you aren't already a subscriber on Twitch, you should go ahead and hit that follow button and catch up on all of our past episodes. And if you're interested in playing with us, come join our Discord. What are you waiting for? Come be a member of this amazing community. Today, we are playing Bloody Strings, one of many chronicles here at St. Pete by Night. Let's introduce our players. Today, we are going to be focusing a little bit on the specific, more personal ventures of our coterie. They have been juggling a few things, a heist, just coming off of the encounters with Benjamin, and now this Victor Adams, and now they're not entirely sure they can trust Edwin. Tonight we're going to begin following Bellatrix. Bellatrix, what are we doing this evening?
Bellatrix would be traveling to the neutral zone, visiting a certain RV that belongs to her drug contact Spud. She needs to re-up. And also she's heard about a fascinating new drug that she wants to try out.
Fantastic. You make your way to the RV, place you've been to a few times already. Spud, if you would like to set the scene for your RV, and please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Kent, normally the lead storyteller. Tonight I'll be playing Spud, the Thin Blood, a drug dealer. The RV is a rather plain-looking Winnebago affair. Looks definitely outdated and a little bit run down. The outside is probably in an RV park somewhere with a tarp kind of awning outside. It looks like he's been here for a few days. There's a couple of lawn chairs that are totally mismatched. Look like they come from different lawn furniture sets set up outside of the RV. The inside, however, is completely different. There is a fully fitted laboratory through a good majority of the RV, stocked with every random supply you could need, including magnet shavings and random sizes of batteries, as well as a vast variety of other accoutrements needed for his alchemy. In the very, very back of the RV is a completely curtained off bedroom, and all of the windows are black grease painted over, probably illegally, to prevent any sunlight from going in. But when Bella arrives this evening, Spud would be in a lawn chair out front, puffing on a vape that seems to emit a red vapor when he blows it out, and sipping on a large slushie.
I've come from some magic.
You always do, priestess. Slushy?
No, it tastes like shit.
Really does. Okay. Well, what kind of magic are we thinking? Are we thinking the classic variety, or would you like to try something new and a new invention of mine?
I want to try something new. I think you mentioned the invention to me before.
I have. Wonderful, wonderful. Give me just a moment. He'll hop up from his chair and then move into the RV, and then there's a bunch of rustling around and sounds like glass breaking and something being knocked over. A lot of cursing. And then a moment later, Spud will come out with several what looks to be jars, kind of like the jars they make for making preserves and everything like that. This is something I like to call Elevate. And what it does is it gives you a high like you've never known before, but it's not as inhibiting. Now, I haven't tested it on one of you guys yet, so this will be kind of a little bit of an experiment. But one way or another, it should be a good time. Otherwise, you're going to end up vomiting it all over the place. But, you know, worth a shot.
Game.
Wonderful. What do you have for me?
First, you'll pull out a bag of Funyuns. Well, this is for Michaela, and you know. And let's see. I have cash. I have secrets. I have favors if you need them. What do you want?
I love cash. Cash is always good. Secrets are very good. They help me be able to stay in this area unmolested for the most part. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll give you a discount on the cash in exchange for a secret.
Give you an option. Okay, since you're here in the neutral zone, there is one of my family. His name's Mr. Hodges. I think he's a spy. Not for the Anarchs and not for the Camarilla. He's spying on both of them. I can give you his address. You should probably avoid it. He doesn't seem safe, as nice as he acts. I literally saw someone come out missing an arm after they went in.
Oh boy, so violent. Okay. Couple of questions, clarifying questions. That's very, very useful and good to know, especially if he's around here. question number 1. If he's not Camarilla and he's not Anarch, he's from the third group. So is he Jewish?
I don't know, honestly.
Because I've heard through the grapevine that the third group is the Sabbath.
She'll consider for a moment, like, she knows it's wrong, but she doesn't know if she wants to actually correct him or just let him go with it. I don't know if he's Jewish or not.
Be a good thing to find out, because then you could, like, I don't know, have pork delivered or something. Anyway, yes, okay, that is an excellent secret. So I would say, how much does this cost? Maybe $500 for the first hit, and then we'll see if it digests well, and if not, we can talk about further pricing like we have in the past.
That sounds good.
Wonderful. And he'll pull out one of the jars, give it a good shake several times. Sip it slowly at first, just to see if you're going to have an instant reaction, because from some of the past concoctions that I've made for your people, the first reaction isn't everything. You kind of have to try it several times to see if it's going to work or not for you. So this should be enough for probably 2 attempts.
Okay. She will take out a wad of cash and count out $500, cash she has gotten from her ghoul Ophelia and the business, and set it down and take the jar from him. Screw it. Sip, right? Like tea.
Yeah, drink half of it, but drink slowly.
She will sip. So, how have you been?
Well, hanging in there. There's a lot more of us here than I've ever seen before. A little bit of a posse. A posse that I've kind of met when passing through Ocala on the way here. Probably going to head back up there soon to check things out. There's a lot more of the, I guess what they would call undesirables up there. They can't really go to any of the big cities, so they've kind of started their own little thing up there. And yeah, I could check in there every now and then. It's not too bad of a drive.
Good, you found others like you. The city is strange. It's not like others.
It's very strange. Yeah, there's a couple of anarchs that are, I guess, also of the diet variety of kindred, but they are interesting. Have you met Savannah before?
No, I have not.
She's also a talented chemist, but gives me like real basic bitch vibes. Like, she has these really nice laboratories, but she's also like kind of gussied up and like dresses up nice. She's I guess a sweeper or something up there.
Sweepers. I think I remember that. Those are like
scourges or sheriffs, I guess?
Yeah. I think I remember from my time in the California.
I've always moved through Camarilla cities for the most part. While they are shitty, they don't have an open kill law, so it's kind of like one of those things where I'm more likely to get away near camp territory than I am in Anarch territory. But the Anarchs are good business.
You let me know if anyone bothers you.
Okay. Mac's been around. She comes and goes pretty regularly, but I also got my furry buddy. Where is he?
He's probably hiding from me.
Yeah, maybe. But other than that, things have been good. Fairly quiet around here. Good business. Made some connections. Have you met Rex?
I think so. I think a few times I've met. He's the Nosferatu, right?
Yeah, he deals in the pharmaceuticals as well up north.
Yes, I do remember him. He was talking about that.
He's more of the street fare, less the chemistry, if you know what I mean.
I'll keep him in the back if you ever have to leave, but you're still my number one supplier.
Well, I don't think I'll be going anywhere, and if I do, it'll only be briefly. This place is actually pretty nice. It's a lot more non-traditional than some of the other places, so it's been a little bit easier to settle in. I like your neutral zone.
Like it too. It's a place to have fun without getting into too much trouble.
We should take a trip to Jacksonville sometime, because then we can take some wild shit, and whatever happens won't be any worse than what normally happens there.
I might do that. I have some business to take care of here, but maybe while I'm waiting, I'll come take a trip with you.
I'm pretty sure the Masquerade gets broken regularly, and not even by kindred.
Wow.
It's that kind of wild place. So did you want to try it now?
Yes, continue sipping. I'm going to give it a try.
Good.
Figure you want to observe.
I do, yes. It's great for science. And he reaches in and pulls out a Hello Kitty notepad and opens it and grabs a pen and starts writing down notes as he observes. I just have to remember what the roll is that you have to make. So what about the others? You kind of told me a little bits and pieces about those that you're running with these nights. How's all that going? What was your latest adventure?
Remember the other day when we met up at that charity?
Yes, the Doctors Without Borders, which means that they can go places that do have borders. I think I processed all of them.
Right. So, remember when I was talking about that one artist that snubbed other elite artists in the city?
Yes.
All right, so he was a Toreador, right?
Yes.
And he came in, and he's doing photography. I don't like it, but anyways. But he totally snubbed the Prince and the Herald. I was still in the city.
So he spoke ill of the Prince and the Herald in the city that the Prince and the Herald are important in.
Right.
Why?
I think he is that arrogant, honestly. He is so full of himself that he doesn't see them as above him. It's okay. I talked someone into setting fire to his display.
Well, good, because that's you. I mean, I don't have any love or fondness for the authority. Anywhere I go, they tend to leave a mark on you, sometimes literally. But that just seems dumb.
That in his subjects, I think he turns his subjects, abuses them, and then takes pictures. And I'm not actually certain that his subjects survive.
So some kind of like sadistic blood play type thing?
Yeah.
Gross.
Grei likes him. But Grei's taste is always questionable.
Wait, Grei.
Grei likes him. Like, is starting to become obsessed with him.
Does that worry you at all?
Yeah. But Gray's gonna have to learn.
And what about the other Toreador that you run with? The painter.
He's interesting. He likes to keep things close to his chest. He's still a puzzle I'm unraveling. But he mostly deflects via jokes and his skill level at breaking into places to steal art. There's something there.
Okay. So you see potential for that.
Mm-hmm. At least for a while. Good to observe and dig a little deeper. See what makes him tick.
Okay. How are you feeling right now? How's your stomach feeling? So far, so good?
How am I feeling right now?
I would say you do feel a roiling in your stomach a little bit, but that it's an unusual toxin being introduced to your system, even though it is mixed with blood. It's not your standard fare. Beara, if you want to add anything, I don't know if you have any thoughts.
I don't rightly know what this is.
Okay. So you are drinking a thin blood alchemy, which was made fairly well. I'm to read, but I'm also blind without glasses. I would say go ahead and make a stamina and resolve check.
Okay. Five successes.
Oh, hey. So at first it takes a moment for the formula to settle in. It does feel a little nauseating at first, but it actually ends up settling into your stomach, and as it does so, you feel a lightness start to come upon your being, almost as if you're floating out of the chair that you're sitting in. You can feel your feet almost dangling off of the edge of the chair, and everything feels tingly and light. And you definitely feel that sensation in your brain as it's kind of overcome with a foggy lift, a bit of a joy, as if it's almost popping the top of your head open and starting to float out of your body. The effects of Elevate. Whoever consumes this formula instantly feels a rush of warmth and pleasure flowing through them, relaxing their muscles and quickening their nerves. They get a +1 on any dexterity dice they roll during the scene. It also can act as a carrier for regular street drugs, although the effects shift unpredictably, if usually toward ecstatic stimulation. Badly made Elevate makes the user feel great, but actively degrades dexterity with a -1 penalty. In this case, it's good made Elevate, so you would have a +1 bonus for the scene that you take the Elevate in.
Bella will lean back in the lawn chair. I feel bubbly. And
good.
floaty.
Good. He writes in his Hello Kitty notebook. And it's staying down. You're not feeling like you're gonna throw up?
I did for a while, but it's gone now.
Good. Okay.
I think I could almost fly to reach the stars.
Excellent. And do you feel like you could do a cartwheel right now?
Yes. I'll get up and try to do a cartwheel.
Dexterity and athletics, but you get the +1 from the elevate.
Right. Oh, also blood surge. Hunger is unchanged. Three successes.
Oh, good. Yes. Okay. Fantastic. Yes. Do a cartwheel. Didn't throw up. Float amongst the stars. Okay. Well, I'll tell you, it's got a kind of a quick burn. It only lasts for maybe an hour. I'm trying to find ways to lengthen the time on that. Trying some new ingredients, but this is kind of your basic run-of-the-mill badge. Although be very, very careful. The euphoria you're feeling right now could lead to a bit of a crash after it's out of your system. So just be careful and watch out for that. But everything looks good so far.
Bella will dance over to Spud. Thank you, Spud.
Always my priestess. And feel free to return if you want any more, or if any of your friends would like to sample some of my wares. I've got a whole variety here, and I'd love to see what happens to them when they take it.
I will. I'm sure Grei will be here. She'll kiss Bud on the cheek. I will see you later.
Yes, I'll see you soon. Be well, my priestess.
I will.
With the two
Bella
of you,
will. I was gonna say Bella will leave, but she will spend the scene like just walking through the city, dancing sometimes, just enjoying the feel.
would both of you, as you were leaving, please give me a what's on awareness.
Seven successes with the messy crit.
Lovely.
4 successes.
Spud, as she is getting ready to leave, you could swear you saw something eerily familiar, kind of off in the distance. It was only for a moment, but it was in the way the person was standing. You saw the silhouette of an individual off, kind of on the kind of starting to reach the limits of where you can clearly perceive anything. There was a person standing back wearing what appeared to be a kind of like a petticoat, but the way they were standing made you uncomfortable and you were unsure why. But it seemed like they were staring toward the RV. And just as quickly as you blink to focus, they're gone. Bellatrix, as you are stepping away, you feel yourself become hungrier as you take the hunger compulsion. You are enjoying the effects of Elevate, and as you are looking about, you kind of spin and catch that image as well. What you're seeing is much more immediately familiar to you. And with your crit, I will say you were able to very clearly see the glimmer of something sparkling off of what would be the face of this individual. Kind of a couple of different colors, as you suspect you may have seen Hodges, and then just as quickly he vanished.
Shit.
What do you do at this moment?
Sense the unseen. I'm using Sense the Unseen to see if it was actually him.
You pop Sense the Unseen. I'll go ahead and roll off of your crit. There's nobody standing there. There's nothing obfuscated.
Maybe I'm just imagining things. I'll wave to Spud, and I'll leave.
Does Spud do anything before we end this scene?
He whips out his cell phone and tries to demand that Siri call Mac several times, and when it tries to call McDonald's, he frustratedly looks up the phone number himself and calls.
Okay. With that, Bellatrix, where do you go after stepping away from Spud?
I'm going to slowly make my way back to the Kitsugi Tea and Terror shop and probably pull in a customer prey to feed off of since I'm hungry before I go visit my sire, which is going to be a more intense visit.
Okay. We will take a quick break, and when we come back, we will be moving on to the next scene. And welcome back. Noree, after you have went and taken care of your business, you decided to travel back to the neutral zone, where you went to go see your sire. As you make your way there, and you reach Asylum, go through the process of reaching, I presume, the same space that you encountered Al before. I will go ahead and let Ken take over the scene.
So we are in the upstairs workshop, which is on the 3rd level of Asylum, only reachable by elevator, it seems, and only accessible to those that Al chooses to let in. It's a large kind of concrete space on the top of the building, almost in opposition to the floors below. Off in one corner, there is a bank of computer monitors, some that seem to be viewing traffic cams, other that seem to be viewing social media, one of them completely focused solely on Blood Bank, as well as a variety of other programs that are up on the various screens, a whole array of keyboards laid out that all seem to have different functions. Along the wall, there's a door that leads into a separate area off to the side, and then on the far wall, there's an entire workbench laid out with a variety of tools and a bunch of kind of cage work up on the side of the wall that various tools are hanging off of hooks as well. Tonight, there appears to be one of the couches from downstairs brought up to the 3rd level, where Al and Charlie are splayed out on the couches, just hanging out, chatting, having a conversation, and seemingly throwing darts at an individual who appears to be shackled on the wall on a wheel, and the wheel is spinning as the person spins on the board as they throw darts at the board.
The elevator opens and Bella will politely knock on the side.
Come in, come in, come in, come in, come in. You're just in time.
Just in time for what?
A game.
I'm down for games.
Good, good, good.
Charlie will hand over some darts.
Have a throw.
Bella will throw.
So that would be dexterity and athletics, or strength and athletics, whatever your chosen poison is.
They're both even, so
Going.
I get 2 successes on my dart throw.
So the dart would go whipping towards the spinning target and probably hit in the second circle on the ringed circle of targets, probably hitting between the underarm and the leg of the individual who seems to be strapped to the board. They have a big piece of electrical tape across their mouth with what looks to be a smiley face drawn on.
I missed
Oh,
him.
that was good. No. You actually hit. The goal here is to miss as much as possible, because then the game is shortened if you hit them in the vital parts.
Oh, I see.
We're auditioning for a circus.
Is a circus coming to Asylum?
Or is Asylum coming to the circus? That's really hard to say. But yes, we are planning on having a circus-themed night of fun and activities, and we need to make sure the talent, and he looks over to the guy on the board and kind of stares him in the eyes for a moment, is up to par.
It's always good to have good talent.
Yes, it is. Welcome, Bella. It's good to see you. Charlie, Bella's here.
Hi, Bella.
Hello.
What did you need?
Well, I wanted to speak to both of you. For you, Charlie, I was wondering if you could teach me more about the cobweb. Like I said, I can hear it, but I kind of want to be able to broadcast too.
I could teach you so much about it. I could teach you probably way more than you need to know. But we could start small.
Okay. And then, I just missed you, Al. I want
I miss you too. It's good to see you again. Last time we saw each other was at there were so many people there. There was so much to consider, and meeting new friends. And then before that, I was burning someone to death. So, it's good to meet on more calm circumstances. And he whips another dart at the board, coming very, very terrifyingly close to the man's head. But I'm glad you're here. But yes, let's talk business or pleasure or cobwebs or whatever. Let's do that.
Yeah. What do you know already?
Okay, so I can hear. Most of it's static, but I can occasionally hear voices. But I can't broadcast. I did spend some time with a group in Boston, or close to Boston, on a ranch. They had something similar, but it was a bit different. I was able to meld with their minds and be able to use or know what they knew. It's random on how I can do or who I can choose, but I'm hoping maybe with the cobweb I'd be able to know more. Also, I know I promised I'd let you noodle in my brain sometime, so I feel like that's a trade if you could teach me.
Yes, absolutely. That would be so fun. So fun. Well, first off, everybody has like some sort of connection, right, to everyone else. But you can kind of learn to put yourself in it a little bit better, and you can communicate with the ones more connected. So you would probably hear me a lot. I usually like to whistle a tune, and then I usually know who's in there because of, it gets stuck in everyone's head. But it's really just about like listening more and letting it flood your mind. Let the weird in, and the more you get comfortable with it and it becomes a part of your day-to-day, the static will be less. It's almost like tuning a radio. Does that make sense? So
Yeah,
like when you are first tuning a radio, it's really annoying. You gotta like figure it out. But like once you've tuned the same radio over and over and over again, you kind of get a feel for like how much to turn the knob or what buttons to click. It's kind of like that, but not like that at all, if that makes sense.
You sort of know where the signal is when you're turning the knob as opposed to trying to find it before.
Right, except it's in your brain and there's no knob, unless I guess you wanted to put a knob on it. But you don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just kind of, I guess, practice getting in tuned, knowing how to tune in.
I'm going to attempt to tune in. Beara.
Okay.
I do have the level 1 of cobwebs. The break in the static.
Gotcha. Give me just a moment. Am I having internet trouble? Is that what the problem is? There we go. Okay. Cool. Give me let's do what's not space.
It's okay. Three successes.
Three successes. Charlie, in this moment, would you be present or active while she's attempting this?
So yeah, as soon as she says she's going to try and tune in, I'm going to start kind of putting out there, the ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah.
Okay. So you begin to kind of tune in and focus on it. You get that static sensation again. But you remember Charlie kind of mentioning that it's kind of like tuning a radio, and you begin trying to focus and zone in on anything specific, and then you start hearing like a dun, 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 dun. And as you continue to zone in on that, it becomes more clear until you start getting the lyrics, and you can clearly tell that Charlie's communicating.
Ants go marching in, hurrah, hurrah.
Yeah, you got it. Good job.
I will continue to practice.
Yeah, some say if you get really, really good at it, you can hear the big head honcho. But, you know, that's just rumors.
So something weird happened with it. Like I said, I was in Boston with a group of us. There was a ranch. They believe that we were all one Malkavian. But they had interesting techniques, and I learned one. But when I was here, remember that man I told you, Mr. Hodges? I connected to him, except it was not like normal connection. It was like a lack of connection, but I could still pick him out.
Interesting.
I've been watching him for a while, but I wonder if he's seen me, because I think he might be following me. I'm not sure. Either that, or I'm just hallucinating it. It's possible.
Well, is he dangerous?
Aren't we all dangerous?
Well, I mean, like dangerous to you, like threatening.
He's never threatened me, but we've never officially met. but I'm pretty sure he's a spy, and not for the Camarilla and not for the Anarchs. I'm leaning towards the Sabbat. In the neutral zone, he's here. So.
Interesting. Looks over to Al.
Bella, do you know why we call it the cobweb? Do you know why we refer to it that way? I mean, sometimes it's called the Malkavian Madness Network. It's been called a lot of things over a long period of time. But do you know why specifically we choose the name the cobweb?
She'll ponder for a moment. I've never been told, but I would think it would be the connection we all have with each other, and each string of the cobweb represents our connection, and when it vibrates, that's how we can hear each other.
Yes. Good. Yes. So, when we had first met, I had gone through a bit of a process where I had severed my connection. Something that was not the best process, very painful, not a lot of fun. And so I, like your Mr. Hodges, was on sort of a wavelength of my own for a little bit. Thankfully, that has since been remedied, and I am back to the network, as it were. But yes, in cobwebs, we are like spiders, and those of us who are adept at navigating the cobweb can feel even the faintest tugs from far, far away, the faintest vibrations. Like a spider on a web, they usually like to position themselves in the center so that they can feel all of the various strands. But as the young of us start, we start near the edges. We start kind of in our own sections or our own cities. This city, for example, is just one small section of the greater web. As you learn to master it, you can maneuver yourself more and more towards the center of the web so that you can feel the vibrations from further and further and further away. For example, Charlie has become so good that she can take connections from possibly even halfway across the world. And what you might be experiencing, because just like a spider web, it's not always perfect. Sometimes it branches off into different areas depending on the terrain. A perfect spider web might form up in the corner of a window and make the perfect spider web spiral pattern. But if that environment were to be disrupted or interrupted in some fashion, they will have to extend out over whatever the obstruction is and start forming another web on the other side. What I think, if I had to guess, you're experiencing is you are feeling the vibrations of whatever web Hodges is in, even if it's tucked away in some sort of dark corner, even if it's not connected fully to the greater web. There is probably one thin strand that you are feeling the pulls on, and you are following with your little spider legs all the way across the web and down that strand into whatever dark, deep corner this Hodges has put himself in, which is why you are feeling it and the others may not be. Your senses are sharpening, and you are making your daddy very, very proud with this. But yes, the goal, the true task, is to become the spider and grow bigger and stronger and more attuned and aware to the greater web as a whole. But there is the grand spider who navigates the entire web. One might say he built the entire web and therefore became it, because without him, there would be no web at all.
You're speaking
Yes.
of Malkov.
Yes, great granddaddy, yes. The origin of the web itself, some believe, is Malkav, that he evolved beyond the physical form and became the web, manifested it, created it, connected us all. Because before, yes, we had our peculiarities individually, but it was him evolving beyond that connected all of us.
I see.
Sometime around, I think, the 1400s, 1500s.
Yeah, so in a roundabout way, you wouldn't, or they wouldn't be wrong. We're all part of one thing.
Which makes sense why the techniques they use work. I mean, I can't actually stake someone. I really don't know how to use a weapon, let's be real, but I borrow it from others in the web. So
Yes. Good.
your spider talk reminds me of something, though. Nick's been talking. Nickel has been talking about spiders and webs. He's had visions, and he's now fixated on it.
What kind of vision?
So, the Keeper of Elysium gave us a mission. Started with this Toreador. He snubbed the Prince, snubbed the Herald, and they decided to get back at him and steal a bust of the former Prince, Isabel, right? So we were sent in to steal the bust. A lot of fun. I got to cause chaos. I loved it. Anyways, inside the bust was an item that he claimed would have hurt the Prince, would have hurt Isabel. But when we returned to it, it was a spider ring. And I had a vision too, but it was just more that that particular item was dangerous. Not so much to the extent that Nick had, where he believed it was a spider and there was a plot of a spider in a web. He tried to connect you to it, but I told him to stop.
What do you think it means?
Pretty sure it might have to do with Edwin, honestly, because Edwin apparently kept the ring instead of delivering it to the prince.
Naughty boy.
To see why. Listen, learn, suss out why before I make any moves.
Well, you could always tell Nick if he needs help interpreting his visions. He could always come see me.
He doesn't like seeing the rest of us. It's really annoying.
Sometimes he doesn't have a choice.
I'll tell him.
Tell Nick he is in our section of the web, and if he would like to continue to walk amongst our strands and cause vibrations, he better understand just where he is and who owns that section of web. Otherwise, we'll silence the strand.
I'll deliver the message.
I think I've got a better idea. Bella, my dear, my love, my sweet apple of my eye. You'd do anything for me, right?
Yes. You're the only one that came for me. So yes.
And I will always come for you. But I need you to do a couple of things for me. See, you've piqued my interest with all of this. So, he'll pull up his goggles and kind of move to position himself in front of Bella, reaching up to stroke the side of her face gently and make direct eye contact with her. I need you to do something by doing nothing. The next time, and I'm activating Submerge Directive, the next time you find an opportunity, you will eliminate Nick. He must rejoin the web the way it's intended. Consume him entirely, or bring him to me and I will.
I need a manipulation and dominate versus intelligence and resolve. Kent, if you'll roll yours physically and then directly message me your result.
I got 3 successes.
I'm gonna spend a willpower as well.
Okay. Okay.
After the Submerge Directive is implanted, he will lean in and bring her forehead to his lips and give it a kiss.
She'll lean into it.
And also, I want the ring. If you could bring me the ring, I'd really like that.
I'll try.
I
I'll
think
give it
we
a
should
try.
do it. Funny
If I
thing
take-
about rings are, a lot of them look alike. So if, something that looked like the ring were to take the place of the actual ring, I'm sure no one would know the difference.
It might take a while, but I'll try to deliver. Or I'll deliver.
We have forever, my dear. What about you, Charlie? Anything you want while we're at this?
No, I was just going to give some advice. If you do want to get a good ring, there's a Baron on the other side that's actually particularly good at that. He made a gold statue once.
Oh. Who?
His name is Zeke.
I might get in contact with him.
Just, if that's something you wanted to do, I want to help.
Thank you.
Of course. And if you need any more help with the web stuff or some more history about the web stuff, I'm more than happy to let you know.
Definitely. I think I will come visit more often. She'll look over to Al. I need to rebuild the relationship we had anyways. I missed it.
I love rebuilding things. I also love destroying them, but in your case, I'll focus on the rebuilding part. I am a much bigger spider now, after all.
My web is just starting.
Anything I can do to help, I will. But if you take care of the problem and bring me the ring, that will be a huge step in rebuilding our relationship, and I award such steps in kind.
All right. I can do that.
Wonderful. Just to ensure that you do. Al will bite his wrist and let the blood start to flow. Rebuilding.
Just once, right? Not 3 times?
Just once. It allows me to have a little bit of oversight into the situation.
She'll take his arm and she'll drink.
Wonderful. Lick it close, please. Beara, in the future, this should allow Al to share the senses even from a distance away because his blood is in her, so he can see what she sees whenever he chooses to.
Understood.
Also, Bella, if you're ever in trouble, let me know. I can find you.
Okay.
I can always find you.
I will let you know.
We make such a good team, Charlie.
We do. It's so fun.
It's so much fun.
I like you as a team.
Thanks. And also thank you for saving me. Helping save me. That was cool.
You're welcome. Edwin deserves the ring to be stolen. He didn't listen to us.
That bad boy.
We told him his security should have been upped. It didn't happen.
Never trusted Tremere. Not fully. They're great, useful wizards when you want to play, Harry Potter. But for everything else, you have to know they are after their own motivations. Even more driven than most kindred that you'll meet. They have the divisiveness of mages backing them up.
I might want to play a little Harry Potter later, but I will remember.
Extra caution with those ones.
Your grandma did not like them at all.
Will you tell me about her sometime?
Absolutely. I would love to.
Oh, you knew her?
Yeah, I did. She was the original Oracle.
Oh, here?
Mm-hmm.
What was she like?
Oh, she was small and terrifying. She always threatened to rip people's arms off and shove them in your mouth. And she was, she was free and fun too. It's just when she got cranky, And her terrifying was also funny because it was never really directed at me. It was always directed at other people, which I found hilarious. And she was so smart and so in tune with the web as well, and in her own senses. And she was just great.
So she was cranky towards the Tremere?
Oh, she did not like the Tremere.
It's good to know before I meet with another one.
Always caution with those ones. You never know what trick they have up their sleeve. It could be as, innocent as shaking your hand. They might have other ideas in mind in that handshake even.
Don't let them touch you. Ever. And don't let them have your blood. Ever. Other than that, they're just peaches and cream. But if they touch you, or if they get a hold of your blood, there are terrible things that they can do to you.
Got it. No touching, no blood.
No. Never.
I still have to meet with this Dr. Dottore to ask him about rituals, so.
But he's so boring.
Yes, but he knows magic, so unless either of you know a ritual that could split a mind or a soul.
What do you mean?
It's hard to explain. This may be the time for noodling.
Yes, noodle time.
Okay, noodling. She'll sit down, pull up Bella right next to her, look at her, grab her face.
Bella will close her eyes.
Okay. Presumably not contesting this. Go ahead and make your roll.
Five successes.
Okay. What is wanting to be found and revealed?
Okay, so can Charlie see visions?
Mhm.
All right. So Bella would be revealing this, and it'll be in third person. So she'll see a girl, maybe about 10, playing on a street, and the girl will eventually be lured in to a van by, usual for the 70s, candy, whatever, and she will be kidnapped. And through a series of time, not sure how much time passes, not a whole lot, that she grows much older, maybe a year, maybe 2. She will be subjected to mental abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse. She will be given a variety of hallucinogenic drugs and basically brainwashed into this cult that believed that they had to expand their minds to be able to control the universe and reach an enlightenment. And through that was drugs and sex. And at one night, this group will gather, led by this older man, probably 50s, 60s, short, balding, but has an air of authority, self-importance. And he will pass along a cup filled with some sort of drink that obviously has some sort of drugs. And they will begin chanting and performing sexual acts. Even Bella is forced to participate. And at apex, it will switch. And it will become more first person instead of third person. And it will expand out beyond the universe and then split to different worlds. One that looks like it has floating castles, another maybe airships, another, and it's her as she keeps floating through these areas, a shattering sound will happen and a piece of her mind will just break and fall away and split. And it will continue to do this until she comes crashing down. Only a small, tiny bit left. And she will be surrounded by bodies of all the other cult members who are bleeding from their eyes and their nose. Obviously dead. I just want to be whole again.
Okay. Maybe Al and I can think of some things and get you whole again.
I found other pieces of me. I keep collecting them.
Are they here?
Some are.
Are they like us?
No. I lost one. I ate her when she was human, and then she was gone. So I'm not doing that again. I'm just collecting them until I figure out how we can become whole.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe check within us too. Collect those too.
I will.
Just be careful with the Tremere. If we can figure something out, you don't need to go to them.
I'll wait to see if you can figure something out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. And she'll pull off one of her googly eyes and just stick it to your forehead.
She'll press it in so it sticks. I have a third eye now.
Very fancy.
Can I have another dart?
Yes. And I will run over to a box and pull out another dart and hand it to her.
She'll start throwing darts with you guys.
And I will say you spend the remainder of the evening with Al and Charlie before returning to your haven or wherever it is that you will be staying until dawn has passed. All right. Now we will move on to see what some of the other members of Bloody Strings have been getting up to. Back in just a moment. Welcome everybody to another night in St. Petersburg where we are following the personal little objectives or movements of the players in our coterie. Tonight we're going to be following Grei. Where is Grei this evening?
Grei is making his way to Asylum, the neutral zone, to meet with Al and Charlie, hopefully. Having sent them a message that he needed an audience.
You arrive at Asylum, make your way through, go up the elevator, and I will let them set the scene.
So the workshop looks like it did before, except Charlie and Al are seated on the couch now watching what appears to be a juggler. The juggler seems to be throwing various objects in the air. Right now he has a bowling pin, a torch, and a knife that he seems to be juggling, and Al seems to have a stockpile of items next to him and occasionally reaches over and tosses one of the items towards the juggler, who now must catch it and continue in the rotation no matter what the item may be. At the moment that you arrive and the elevator opens on the 3rd floor, you hear the kind of jarring squeak of what appears to be a rubber chicken being tossed at the juggler before the juggler has to catch it and keep the juggling rotation going. Faster! Faster!
Step off the elevator and wait until one of them recognizes.
Charlie will turn around. Grei, you made it.
I did, and thank you for seeing me. In his hands, he has 2 black gloss-wrapped packages with black bows on top of them. She will step forward and offer one to each of them. Small token of my sincerity. I wanted to apologize not coming to the family gathering.
Should we open them at the same time?
Yeah, ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Inside each of them is a stained glass angel that looks like it's an ornament that you would hang from a Christmas tree or from rafters or something like that.
This is amazing. I didn't get you anything. And she'll just reach over to whatever Al has. Probably, just a messed up, like partly ripped up tennis ball, and just hand it over.
Take it. Smile.
Do you like angels, Grei?
I do, sir. Yes.
There are some stories. Some who believe that our originator was an angel. Have you heard those stories before?
I've heard.
I mean, our originator, not the rest of those other kindred. I mean, ours.
I've heard them. I'm very well acquainted with them, I should say.
Oh, good. Well, then I like it just fine. Thank you
I
for
did-
the gift. Come in.
Thank you. I'm gonna look to see if there's any place you should have a seat.
Oh, Al will hop up off the couch and pat the seat that he was sitting in, and then move over to the juggler, and in one fell swoop shove the juggler out of the way, but catch the objects he was throwing and start juggling them himself.
Grei will have a seat. Kind of applaud a bit. Show of dexterity. Remarkable.
Oh, this old thing. I've had lots of practice. So, why are you here, Grei?
Well, as I said, the first reason was to apologize. There was a family gathering and I could not attend. I didn't mean any sort of insult by not showing, and I know how refusing an invitation often seen as an insult.
Well, you got to keep up appearances, right?
Yes, and that leads me to the second reason, really. I wanted to thank both of you for helping me with that.
Anything for the family, Grei. We all wear masks. Some of us prefer our masks a little rosier than others, but we all wear a mask of one form or another. But we are, at the end of the day, family. And if we don't support each other, then we're just a bunch of loose strands in the breeze, not the web that we're constructed to be. Plus, it wouldn't be very angelic for us to throw you to the wolves.
Well, I do appreciate the concern. And I want to make it clear that my aloofness is not because I don't enjoy your company. Because, honestly, a few times that we've had a chance to talk, I have enjoyed. The party after pulling you out of Benji's clutches was memorable, to say the least.
I think it's great. Gives you an opportunity to see a different family and get information from a different family.
Of course. And if you are ever interested, goes on, I'd definitely be willing to pass that along.
What's the goal, Grei? I mean, I can appreciate wanting to hide in plain sight, to escape a past that might be trying to catch up with you, but what's the goal with all of this? What are you trying to accomplish?
He paused for a moment as if he was going to launch into a practice spiel and stop. I am terrified of disappointing the man who put me back together.
Daddy issues. I get it. I lived in a very, very long shadow for a long, long time. I was told I had a purpose that I had to fulfill, a grand design, something that ended up being a burden for a very, very long time. The great things about burdens is you eventually learn to accept it as part of the weight you bear on a day-to-day and a night-to-night basis. And when you are ready, you can free yourself of that burden. Who's this man that you seek not to disappoint?
His name is Henry. And to me, he is an angel. One who pulled me out of an abyss that I probably wouldn't have got out of myself.
He's one of the roses.
Yes, he is. And he is convinced that I am as well. Although not being my actual sire.
And are you convinced
That I am a rose?
that you are an angel?
I know I am an angel, sir. This form is just the one I'm taking as it stands.
And what has stopped you from freeing yourself of this form to join your angel-y brethren?
Shirking what we have here would be leaving paradise. I think the stories that you've heard are far from the truth. The truth of the matter is there is a conflict ongoing. One that we are all part of, whether we know it or not. This conflict is not amongst our kind. Conflict is between the unborn and those who are physical. Between that which would control and manipulate and those who seek freedom. be here is to be in paradise. To be liberated from these forms would be, well, put us at the mercy of one of the greatest demons.
How long has your mind's eye been open, Grei? How long have you walked amongst the kindred and the angels?
That's a complicated question to answer. Time being what I am is, and what I was, isn't something that I really consider. Officially, my blood has been thicker for almost 8 years now.
Must have been a very enlightening 8 years.
There were things I knew before coming into this position, and there are things that I know now. I've been able to resolve some open questions that I had in that 8 years.
What kind of question?
Our true origins, where we actually came from, the lies that we were told, lies, religious falsehoods.
And where do you think we actually came from?
Names don't really matter. Holy wars have been fought over names. But it's the archetypes that matter. The Dark Father is not our progenitor. There was a war. That war that is still ongoing. And we chose differently.
Do you believe all kindred are angels, or just a select few?
We're all descended in one way or another. Some of us were lucky enough to be reincarnated, to have survived the harrowing journey through the other side and back here. It's not all of them, no.
Who do you think this war is between? Angels and devils?
Were it that simple? Angels have defected. Devils have chosen. War is between what most would call the concept of divinity, the creator, and those who would seek freedom. It is by necessity that a being that can see with certainty what the future is robs us of free will. It is only in this space, in this Eden, or not, or wandering land, whatever you want to call it, that we actually have freedom.
Would you humor me with a thought exercise?
Absolutely.
Your faith is strong. Your devotion unwavering. Even in the way you speak, I can hear your commitment to the cause and your belief in what you are and where we come from in this place. The thought exercise I would pose to you, and I mean no disrespect by it. What if you're wrong?
Then I suppose I will either cease to exist, I will burn an eternity of hell, or someone else will have the answers, and it is their paradise or their judgment that I will be forced to submit to. But in the end, if I am forced to submit to someone else's judgment, is that not then just stripping control from me anyway?
If you were forced, certainly. But what if you chose to submit?
Submission is one of the most divine things that we can do.
And this Henry, he taught you all of this?
Some of it, as I said. My worldview was not informed by these past 8 years alone.
Tell me about the time before. When you were broken, before you were put back together. What broke you?
The man who brought me over. The man who thickened my blood. He was jealous. King Grei. He was a monster. But that's not to say that I didn't love him any less.
Where are they now?
He paid the price for his actions, and judgment was passed on him by the law.
In France?
Yes.
Is that where you met Henry?
That is where I met him.
I could see why the rose would be so appealing then. Toreador City, Toreador Prince, Toreador Mentor. It's very pretty. So why did you come here?
Similar reasons. Lord Wat Henry asked that I come investigate foundations of what he thought would be something great. He'd heard tell of our former prince. I know it's not something you much go in for, being outside of the current prince's territory, but it is ultimately what brought me here.
I was intrigued, to say the very least. It is a new way of thinking, and I have been embroiled in the politics on both sides for a very, very long time. I've learned to see between what the anarchs seek, the freedom that they talk about, is often misconstrued as the freedom you speak of. They think that they're liberation comes in smaller territories, but really they still bend the knee to an elder, one who controls them. It's not true anarchy. It's just simply dressed up nice. The Camarilla, sure, it provides security. It provides tradition. It provides a long and bloody history. But it stands because nobody can see the top. You can't cut the head off the snake if the snake's head is invisible. But between all of it, between all of the strands and webs that they weave with their laws and traditions and rhetoric, lies the truth. And you're right, this is a very special place. Not because of what Isabel was trying to do, but because of what is in between all of it. What goes unseen, unheard, and unnoticed. This place is a place that attracts power. A place that creates power. There are kind that have labeled it by many names. An intersection of ley lines, a convergence. It draws interesting philosophies, ideals, and a very colorful cast of characters. But it's still a performance. Everyone's playing their role, their parts, their piece. Some are just props, set furniture. Extras in the background milling about, believing that they have some sense of purpose. I admire your philosophies, Grei. But I have a slightly different perspective than you.
I'm curious to know what that is.
I think we're all broken. Shattered pieces dashed upon the stage, reflecting various kinds of light from above, sending prisms and scattering patterns all across the scenery, all across the world. I believe we were once whole, and then we were broken. Scattered. Fragments all across this world. And over time, they've been ground up into smaller and smaller pieces by the boots of those who would call themselves kings. Those who would try to collect as many of the pieces as possible to try and make some sort of whole to serve their own purpose. But I believe it is fruitless because it can't be whole unless it contains all of the pieces. It is only a fragment. So the Camarilla, a fragment. The Anarchs, a fragment. The Sabbat, a fragment. And don't even get me started on the other independents. I think...
Does your philosophy extend beyond us?
Yes.
You're not the only thing that bumps in the night.
No, it extends to everything. Not just the kindred. Because like you, Grei, I do believe we come from angels. some of us a little more directly than others. But I think for us to gain the angelic wisdom, the sight, the Eden, as you have so put it, we must surrender our individuality. We must willingly submit to restore which once was whole back to its proper place. Then we will be free, because we will finally be united together, not divided in meaningless squabbles of fragments on a stage of false promises and lies, not doing the dance of the devil, but instead as one solid singularity. We will be restored.
I do not want you to take this as an insult. Others have in the past, and it is because they don't understand the words that I use. But I do hear the serpent in your voice. The serpent in standard traditional religion view is one that leads astray. That is true in my view. However, what it has led us astray from was a tyrannical overlord. And I can hear its whispers in the words that you say.
There can't be an overlord if there is no independent. There can't be a tyrant if there is no one to hold tyranny over. If all the pieces are restored, we are as much beggar as we are tyrant. We are as much lord as we are peasant. We are all the same. And not in the ridiculous socialist notions some barons to the north would preach. There is no dividing pecking order. It's not us feeding on those that are lesser. It's not us shying away from those that are greater. We are all one. I don't seek to rule anyone. I don't seek to be ruled by anyone. Because when it's all done, we are all one. No rulers, no followers. We are restored. All of our philosophies, all of our ambitions, all of our dreams merged. Rather than opposing, rather than fighting, rather than tearing one another apart, thinking that we know what's best. That's the true freedom, where there's nothing to oppose any of us, because there is nothing but us.
I don't think worldlies are too far misaligned.
I just think your angel has a different name than mine.
And let's not get into a holy war about names.
So what does your perfect world look like, Grei? I've told you mine. Tell me yours.
Simple. The one where we have conquered death. Not we as in the kindred. We as in all have conquered death. Death is the gateway that leads us back to enslavement. And I am blessed that it is something that must be forced upon me than something that will come to me naturally. The numbers, the sheer numbers of souls on the other side, those who are still in shackles and chains, need to be brought here. There must be more of us. And once there are, we will be stronger than it. Us together will be free.
And what have you done to those who have opposed you, stood in your way, obstructed your path?
Sacrifices must be made. Sometimes sacrifices must be made even if they are not directly obstructing. Merely collateral damage.
Can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs, right?
Can't win a war without losing countless numbers of troops.
Tomato, tomato. And the best way that you can bring about this world is with a mask?
No. That is because I respect Henry. The best way that this world can be brought about is by encouraging the kind to do what they do best. Read.
To bring back the souls that are lost.
Yes. To give them vessels to inhabit. The kind have already made vast improvements in lifespan the past 100 years alone. In the future, they will get to the point where they have found a way to conquer death. And at that point, we will be united. We can make a stand.
Why wouldn't you just make like a bunch of us if that was like the thought process, right? Because then you have to be forced to go back.
A numbers game. A number of us that can survive. A number of us that actually need vessels. Fewer than the number of kind that do. Those fragments you talk about, those pieces that have been ground down, kings of the past have done. Those are all fragments of those of us who liberated Death's children in the first place. To leave Eden and come to Nod.
What parts of the others you travel with play in this? What's their role? I've heard a lot of talk about art galleries and rings and flames. What part do they play?
Don't mistake my fanaticism for it being the only thing that I concern myself with. As far as my coterie goes, we work together. We fulfill the requests that are asked of us. This conflict that I'm telling you about is not something that will be solved within the next decade. Perhaps not even within the next millennia. And in the meantime, I have to keep myself preoccupied somehow.
Eternity can get really boring really fast. He points over to the juggler, who is still just kind of collapsed on the floor, just still moving their hands as if they were juggling. I don't think you're a fanatic, Grei. Fanatics have been the cause of some of the fracturing that we've seen. Some of the grinding of the pieces. Like you said, they've fought wars over names, places, differences in belief. Those are the fanatics. I think you are burdened with glorious purpose. Similar to me.
I appreciate the compliment.
I'm intrigued by you, by the things you've said. Sometimes it feels like I'm just staring in the mirror talking to myself, though you are much prettier than I am.
Genetics are what they are. We can't help that.
Genetics, huh?
Fine, however, might be able to help that. And if you are interested, there are ways.
I earned these rugged good looks. Every scar, every freckle, every little bit has a story to tell. I'm not as worried about outward appearances as what lies within, but I can respect those that are. Perfection is in the eye of the beholder.
Agreed. Same with beauty.
Indeed. What have you found in this city since you've arrived? You were interested in the mission. That mission is hit some bumpy straits ever since the new boy prince took over.
Well, specifically, I would say that you shouldn't dismiss what the kind call those ley lines. They are very real. They do run through this place with a strength that I have not seen elsewhere. There's...
Oh, I don't dismiss them. I just label them differently. There's a power here, that's undoubted.
Yes.
But what have you found? Is this place meeting the expectations you were given, the curiosity? What keeps you here?
We'll pause and consider for a moment. Question with many answers. But I think the most important one, that this city needs a tabernacle. Place of worship.
think you can establish such a place?
I wouldn't have stayed here if I didn't.
I'm interested to see how this story unfolds. If it's going to be a verse of scripture, or if it's going to be just another scene in an ever-long play. But I think that you have an advantage above the others because you can see it for what it is, rather than believe it to be some sort of misguided reality. It's an Eden to form, not an Eden quite yet.
Caution against Eden. Eden was given to us as a place of satiation, a place where we would never graduate from because we didn't have the intelligence or the understanding, and we wallowed in our naivety. I want Nod. I want the Wandering Land. While it may hurt, and while it may be difficult, in the end, it is ours, and not gifted to us by anything.
It was built, not given. Do you know the language of the city?
This one particularly?
Oh no, the first.
I do not.
Well, perhaps when you aren't wearing your mask, if you need a break from the burdens that carries, from attending all the salons and the rose gardens and entreating with the succubi, perhaps I can teach you a thing or two.
I would be honored.
It's a complex script, but the message is clear and straightforward. So what do you want? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I didn't expect such an offer. I'm sorry, I'm a bit caught on the back foot.
I've been around a long time. A lot longer than most. Your 8 years is my 800 years. So I've had a lot to fill the time. And I, like you, wandered and learned. Not just the footpaths of this world, but of the mind. It's one thing that our family does a little bit better than the others. I have seen up the strand from which I was born. I remember things that weren't experiences of my own, but experiences of those that came before me. And it's been enlightening. But I'm happy to share with any others that look to be enlightened as well.
And you are truly a saint.
Not yet, but I'm working. So what do you want from us, Grei? You want us to keep your secret?
Yes, just your continued support. That's all.
Charlie.
Oh, you guys are done? I want to see something. I want another secret. I want 2.
Two.
Mhm.
Specific
Sorry.
secrets, or
I have this one. I want another one of yours. You could show me.
I would not want to expose you to that.
It's one of my favorite things to do. So, you'd be obliging me.
No, I misspoke. I would not want to necessarily expose someone else who can't consent to this. I am for your secret, not alone. Lord Henry's actual child still lives within me. And her secrets are not mine to give.
Interesting.
Okay, I have an alternative. Grei. What was the name you were given at birth?
Grei, sir.
And your last name?
They call me Novak.
I'm not asking what they call you. What do you call you?
I would say that I haven't earned the last name yet.
Interesting.
I understand your question, and I know it sounds like I am avoiding it. To be fair, I am. But I truthfully do not think I have earned that name. If at some point I do, I will tell you.
That's all I want is the truth. The in-between.
Again, there are some secrets that don't belong to me. And I pride myself in keeping others' secrets.
I'll keep your secret. It's the least I can do for family. But I should warn you. There's one among you that isn't a fan of secrets and is seeking to unearth them with a ferocity that could be very damaging. Just be mindful of that.
You mean Nick?
Is it that obvious?
He is transparent at times. I have had to caution him many times into not looking into the secrets of his elders. And I fear that that is going to be his downfall.
As long as you're aware of that, I think you'll do just fine. And yes, I won't tell anyone about the mask you wear. It's such a pretty mask. but you should visit more often. I'd be interested to hear more of what you were taught. Perhaps between our two philosophies, we can find the middle.
Oh, okay. There's a person, and he's not a good person. Who's the person? The one you're obsessed with.
One I'm obsessed with. I'm not sure I know what you mean.
The artist.
Victor. Every conversation seems to come back to Victor for some reason. You have to have been talking to Bella.
What's his deal?
He's lost his muse.
And you think you could be that?
No. I think I can help him find it. He makes things ugly in order to make them beautiful. The first part is not necessary. There's so much ugliness already that he could be beautifying. He does not have to find something and make it ugly first. And that's key to pulling him out of purgatory, out of his abyss. What kind of angel would let something like that wallow in perdition?
Okay. I will keep your secret. But if Bella says it goes too far with him, you have to listen.
I respect Bella. If she says that I have lost myself, assuming I've not too far gone, I will do what I can to pull myself back.
Okay. I feel like that's a fair deal.
Sometimes the best way to help someone find their muse is to give them another go at it. A fresh start. Maybe a little time spent amongst the traps before being reborn will help him find it.
I think, given what has recently happened, Victor will make quite the phoenix.
This has been a great conversation, Grei. I hope as much for you as for me.
Absolutely. I am, again, sad that we could not have been at the gathering in person.
There'll be more. Maybe some more intimate ones in the future that you'll feel a little more comfortable in. The company was a little mixed last time. There's even a senile old man there.
Did Nick make an appearance?
No.
He doesn't like us.
I hoped he would.
It was pretty obvious from the first meeting.
I will speak to him. Insults should not be something that he seeks to do.
I'm not too worried about it. Usually the ones who isolate themselves just tend to isolate themselves more until you don't see them ever
Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, and I don't want to overstay my welcome.
Feel free to visit any time. You are
Absolutely.
more than welcome here.
Thank you. It's good to know that there are others I can turn to. Things get where the roses don't understand.
Charlie's one of the best at deciphering the noise that I've ever had the pleasure of spending time with.
I can help if you ever need it.
I think I may. Dealing with Victor is not going to be easy. I've already seen that it's going to be painful. Thank you. Stand up and politely bow to both of you. Make his way towards the elevator.
We should get the juggler back.
Oh, yeah.
That conversation was very, very long-winded. And you also need to eat something. You sound cranky.
It's not that good of a juggler.
All right.
As you leave them to their dinner, you step out of Asylum. Where does Kyrie go after he leaves from Asylum?
Yeah, I think Grei is going ahead
Grei.
back to his haven. Talking with Al and Charlie is a success. I don't hold any insult for the fact that he wasn't at their gathering. Honestly, he thinks that perhaps one of those angels might actually inhabit Al, if not Charlie as well. He's just not sure which one yet. But as he arrives at his haven, kind of settles in, he's going to pick up the phone and again dial number back to his family that he avoided telling them about this evening.
The phone rings. Goes on a few more times before you hear it click on. Calling back so soon.
I wanted to thank you for the loan of the vessels, Father. It was the event was a success. I assure that nothing is out of the ordinary. Everything is on the up and up as far as you're concerned.
Everything is fine, well, with the exception that when you returned the product, it returned without you.
Yes. This engagement has a chance to be extremely lucrative, as I said, for us, in ways that others have not. The exposure that we could get here would extend the family's influence much further than it already is. I was hoping I could make a perhaps business proposition.
Grei, what makes you think that we need much expansion, let alone something that you, who left, could provide? What do you think this goes? Where do you think this ends?
Everyone here needs what we provide. This is a foothold to a market that we haven't really had any influence in.
And that is? For someone who speaks to the growth and prosperity of what it is that we're doing here, you don't seem to be wanting to give me any direct information.
Yeah. I've made several connections in a religious group, who would need our services on a regular basis. And I know that religion is not necessarily something you care for too much, but this group is, well, flush with both opportunity and need. My benefactor currently is well placed, and I am working with another that I think can have considerable influence and status given some time. The family name does not have to be known. It can serve as the broker, the go-between.
Your benefactor. Who is this benefactor?
His name is Lord Henry Wotton. You may have heard of him. I'm not sure.
And what, Grei, made you run to this Lord Henry, away from your own family?
I did not abandon the family. At no point have I abandoned the family. I cannot make that clear enough to you.
Yet? Where are you now?
I am still doing what you asked. I'm still making connections for us.
You are making these claims and acting, claiming that it's in the interest of our family. However, the family seems to have the interest in having you home. So how is it, Grei, that you are acting in our interest?
Things have changed out here. Not the same rules that you thought they were when this started. Not the same factions or politics. None of it is what it was. You have been in Eden, and I have had my boots on the ground. I'm telling you, it is different.
Why did you call, Grei?
I need assistance. I need someone who can take some of this burden, and who's better with numbers than I am. Is Lydia still available?
You disobey. You loosely manipulate your word, and then have the gall to call me and ask for your nanny?
He won't respond to that.
Give me charisma persuasion.
Two successes. But that's because we both know that her talents be perfect for this. And while I may have an ulterior motive, I may want to see her again. She's still the right one for the job.
I do value her talents. But if you think that this is the best way to bring your business and that hamlet of a city and bring you home, would you like to ask her?
Certainly.
Bear with me one moment. The phone's quiet. About 5 minutes.
He will pace back and forth those entire 5 minutes.
Finally, you hear the phone shuffle as if someone picked it up. Hello?
Yeah.
Grei? It's been so long. And then in the moment before they could finish that sentence, you hear a sensation of like gurgling water. You can hear Lydia coughing. And then you hear the sound of flesh and bone ripping asunder. The phone shuffles again. Consider that a warning, Grei. And he hangs up the phone. Please make a frenzy check for me.
Do I have to make a check?
Or
Because I think he's just going to fail.
you can, yeah, if you just wish to go into a frenzy.
Yeah. Yes. No. There's nothing that would. He will hurl the phone against the wall, and the fit of rage, he will smash the stained glass depiction of Michael. And continue to destroy anything inside of his haven that can be destroyed. That isn't tied down, that isn't part of the walls.
As you destroy the home, the shrine, your personal little temple to everything that you have been building toward, we will pan away and move on to the next person.
St. Petersburg by Night is brought to you through collaborations with our partnered vendors: Wolfpack Dice, Ember Fox Dice, Dragon Ink Dice, Beara the Bard, Champs Tramps, Panchi Artista, and Chromatic Creations US. Links to our partnered vendors, as well as our Twitch and YouTube channels, can be found on our website, stpbynight.com. The official theme song for St. Petersburg by Night is Vampire by Faith and Failure. You can find them at faithandfailure.com. You can follow SPbN on all socials with the hashtag StPeteByNight. If you wish to support our program, you can do so at ko-fi.com/StPeteByNight to help keep the stories rolling.
Hello, and welcome to the second installment of our extended vignettes for Bloody Strings. I'm your humble storyteller, Beara the Bard. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Truckexe, and I am playing the something Malkavian, Nicholas Baldridge.
So last we saw Nick, you had just left from a kind of like a minor celebratory reprieve with the rest of your coterie after very clearly spotting Edwin Kane, the Keeper of Elysium, brandishing again some very shadow-like powers that you saw earlier at Elysium, using them to kind of obfuscate his identity, but you managed to pierce through that, and upon doing so saw him vanish. You sent your coterie a text saying that, well, specifically Belle, naming Edwin. And then from there, you return to the Ascent. Kind of looking to process the things that have happened in just the last 24 hours alone. What does Nicholas do?
Nick can't keep himself from slamming the door closed behind him. Now that the hunger is gone, now that he's had a moment, he pulls out of a pocket a two-finger cigar case, just absently pulling it apart, catching the one cigar left, and just rolls it in his fingertips as he paces the room in the Ascent. Just starts talking to himself. Every fucking time. Fucking hope. Why did I bring it? It's a cigar. Toasting it. Looking back and forth, and then starts looking around to see if there's any books that might be relevant here.
You're breaking up just a little bit.
He's looking around, looking for books that might be just anything. As he's thinking to himself, it's like, I've got to figure this out. I need to know what is all this shit that we're getting involved in.
So you want to look for books within the Ascent to kind of give you a little more context.
For now, and he's also gonna be writing down things, trying to utilize external and internal to put pieces together and see what his next move is, because he's
Okay.
he's on a chase.
Give me. We do intelligence and investigation.
Okay. With his states, may I blood search?
Certainly.
Yeah, he gets hungrier.
What is your hunger at right now?
2.
Okay.
In his state, I'd say I'd like to spend a willpower. He is driven now. Like it started roiling, and it's that is 6 total successes.
Very good. As you begin trying to investigate some things that you have immediate access to, you kind of begin thinking a little bit. You're not the most to say the least, you don't exactly have a grand understanding of the keeper, what the keeper does, all of that stuff, the ins and outs of Elysium. But when you think back on it, Elysium should be the most secure place in the city, just about, next to the prince itself. How is it that a single Nosferatu managed to get by all that security? Surely they have a means to deal with people who can obfuscate. A way to spot them. How'd this one get through? And both times immediately managed to take hostage the keeper, which you saw shatter a statue with the flex of a wrist. And Charlie, your primogen. How was that allowed to happen? You continue going through some things, and how come the prince didn't ask you to do this task? It's not like you haven't met the prince before. Why wasn't the prince there to receive the item? Edwin kind of seems at the very least peculiar in this moment. Why has he gone from this weird, dry, introverted individual to almost lofty, almost jovial even, in the reception of the ring, which you are very certain is dangerous in some capacity? And he just dropped it in his pocket. And then you saw him wearing it that night. You eventually come across some of the notes and things that have been kind of compiled as your coterie completed the Benjamin investigation, began dealing with Victor. Give me a wits and insight. I'll say the difficulty has been decreased because of your previous investigation roll.
That's successes.
Very nice. As you are kind of in the middle of all that, you finally kind of come back to this whole Victor Adams situation. You've met Carmine. You've met the prince. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would get caught up in petty trivialities such as this. Why would he care about some punk toreador? Sure, he's a piece of shit, but even Carmine doesn't seem to care. He does what he's got to do. This seems petty in comparison to the responsibilities of maintaining the city. I will say with those roles and the things that you have found, while not necessarily getting to the bottom of everything, I say that you definitely do come to a conclusion that Edwin has manipulated your coterie in some capacity. To what end, you're unsure. But he's definitely been lying. He told you directly. He has no understanding of Oblivion. But you saw the shadows, at least a little bit. And you definitely saw him tonight.
His reaction to the mention of Oblivion, his reaction overall, nothing missed. What have I see? How does this connect? Can't just be a spider in a vision, a spider on a ring, and then these powers that all connect together. Danger. Personality changed. Yes. And no highfalutin socialites. Oh no. Our little Tord, our little Jameer wants to have a little bit of fun. What does this give him? What does this do for him? What's he achieving? No more about that. And Nick will willingly pop premonition. See if he can visualize a direction to Darkhill.
Give me your wits and aspects. First, I resolve aspects. Double check. Has been a minute.
Aspects. Resolve and aspects.
Resolve. Thank you.
Pass check, please. Oh, that's all. Three successes.
3 successes. Okay. And you're trying to just focus on like Edwin?
No, it's Edwin. To Nick, Edwin is frustrating. Like he's absolutely pissed about how he was gaslit.
Mhm.
But he knows there's a connection here. All the three things that connect: ring, powers, vision, all culminating in this extremely dangerous situation. And he needs a direction. He needs a way to learn more.
With 3 successes, you begin trying to focus on these things. As you are focusing, you kind of get one of those like little sensations where it looks like there's like a little shape just at like at the edge of your peripheral that shifts when you go to focus on it. It kind of dances, but the more it dances, the more it bounces around, the more it seems to take a little bit more shape until it looks like a spider scurrying just on the edges of your peripheral. And then as you begin to kind of snap and focus in on it, you see it'll raise one leg. And then with that one leg, it's like you see a ripple of webs streak across your vision and then ping over here, and your eye uncontrollably flicks to it. And the spider scurries off and is no longer present.
What did my vision flick to? Or was it just a wall?
It's just kind of like you flicked and your eyes were forced to look at where the concentration of that vibration was. And the spider's no longer there when you do.
You know what? Fucking child. You every time.
I did lose a little bit of that there.
I will see you every time. I will lose track of you. I will never stop until I know every inch of you. I'm not a child any longer. I am not ignorant any longer. And he throws a chair in the same direction where he felt like his eyes went, just roaring in anger.
You throw the chair, and it strikes against a shelf. A shelf kind of over in a little nook that Bellatrix uses pretty often in here. When you do, you notice a piece of paper kind of falls and flutters to the ground.
It will stop, tilt its head. Well, isn't this interesting? You'll go and pick it up.
When you go over and pick it up, you see it looks like a really cheap, like it says happy birthday on it, but the birthday is crossed out, and it just says like happy anniversary scribbled in Sharpie underneath it. And when you open it up, It just says, "Daddy, happy anniversary, Daddy's little girl, Al."
Well. If it isn't the head, Mia, so of course it comes back to that bastard. Of course it does. It's time for lunch. And as he starts to say that, he blinks to himself. Don't want to deal with him. Just shifts it mid-sentence. Deals with Al. Did it deal with Bella? If it dealt with Bella, maybe she really was a target of Ben. Which makes sense. Why is Edwin trying to protect Al? It seems like something. God damn. Of course. What a web they weave! It just paces. It's around. I go to asylum on my own. But tell me not to let things lie, and I can't. God damn, I knew Al was involved somehow, but I don't know what to do. It continues to pace. Pace. I don't know how to talk to you. Get answers out of him. Can I talk to Nick? Nick starts writing down everything he's put together. And writing it down again. Placing one page there, one page there. Taking... And then gets an idea. Spiders are as much symbolic, whether through cult, psychology, dream analysis. Maybe understanding why the spider is tied to certain symbols and the powers will lead to something more concrete to confront either Edwin or Al with. But I think what he needs to really figure out is what type of mythological symbology should he go down. And he'll pull out his laptop, start, I guess we could say, supernaturally, to look for some possible leads.
And you're referring to the symbolism regarding the spider?
The spider, its ties to the vision and the power. So, you know, that abyss and shadow that the vision had, the obviously almost abyssal shadows that Edwin was using, how someone with lesser power has overpowered so many greater threats, and how that could tie into why the spider is so important in all of these.
So how do you wish to go about trying to gain that information? It's just the internet, just trying to find...
Basically, trying to look up myths or legends or symbology. Probably African. More like African older cultures, if possible, as a lot of spider mythology comes from Africa. At least in Nick's mind.
Okay. Give me another intelligence investigation.
Definitely blood surging this one, if I may.
Absolutely.
Let's not get hungry. I'm going to spend a willpower to try to get one success. He is very determined. Nope. 5 successes.
5 successes. Like you said, there's a lot of references to spider mythology, spider lore, things on that line.
Iconography, yeah.
With 5 successes. Tell you what, with 5 successes, I will say you find an image of the ring. It's old, as you're kind of looking at it. It's on a... The image that you're looking at appears to be from a museum. Specifically from a collection of artifacts that were recovered post World War II. Its origin is unsure, but it was found in a bunker along with a few others, and it was stolen from that space roughly 2 years ago. Based on the design and such, there are no specific there's nothing to it that ties to a specific like. Sorry?
After you mentioned the bunker, you started me out for me. Apologies.
Very good. It was stolen roughly a couple years from the museum. A couple years ago from the museum. It was found in a bunker with a series of other relics post World War II. There's nothing there's nothing in the ring that has a connection to any particular kind of religion that you can find, but it does seem that it is very, very old, easily a few centuries. As you are kind of looking all this over, it dawns on you that maybe the origins of this ring might be something a little closer to the world you live in now. Or don't live in.
This lines up. He first is going to take the pictures and the art and news clippings, put them in phone, print them off, add them to the growing notes pile, and just start organizing that. He's going to make up a board for the others just to look at. Show what he's doing. He'll also pick up the chair overall, I would say he's at this point, I can't say he would know where to go next. He's going like the cult is just not his strong suit, and he knows it. But setting it up, also like for everyone to see, also might give him the chance to see how someone who he does know is a bit more knowledgeable might react. And also, he will send a text to Matt this time, specifically saying, I'm going to probably have to talk to Al. There's some really bad shit going on.
Okay.
And then, as he goes to put the phone away, he blinks to himself a few times. A bit of a smirk comes on his face. Pulls it back in front of his face. Text memo. Seems some spiders scurrying out. Interestingly enough, they put it on a ring.
You're cutting out.
Some empty shadows around it. Let's. This gets much worse on benefit to my phone. Can you hear me now?
It sounds better now, yes.
He'll, with that smirk, he'll text his grandmother that there are spiders scurrying about, popular enough to put on a ring, and hidden enough to create rather interesting shadows. And then he'll delete the message as he continues organizing the board, as if he stopped anything.
As you continue, you send that message, and as you continue kind of organizing your information, give me a wits and insight.
Goodness. 9 successes with a crit.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of sit there for a moment as you're doing all this. Well, why are you waiting? Well, why don't you do something now?
That phone or phone? that our fellas, he's a bit of a not an easy nut to crack, man. He's a bit too much powerful, just as Pierce, at least at the moment. But I don't know. Someone as unsurly and unmannerful like him isn't long. But I do have to admit, Memo, my skills seem to be failing me here. What would you do?
I'd make sure that he's aware that I'm the one not to be messed with. I'd make the message loud and clear.
Yes. What type of message to say? Oh, I might have that.
And who are you trying to send the message to?
Well,
Al? Or the Keeper? Because I know how you can
I
send one
think
now.
we could. Oh?
Really
Yes,
hit on
so
where it
Al would
hurts.
be a bit easier to. What are you talking about, our dear Bella?
Not so stupid.
Or are you
as I
talking
thought.
about that little chart he has?
No. I'm
Fascinating.
afraid you couldn't get too close to Charlie, but Belle wouldn't be too difficult at all. You lived in that little tea shop of hers for some time. You know your way around. One nice sharp stick a few minutes later.
Alas, brilliant as that is, Mamma Diaz. Unfortunately, I don't think I'd be able to back up that message when it comes to the consequences from the idea, Maria.
How's not the Camarilla?
Nice. Oh. Oh, I do believe I know what you mean. Can't seem to any gesture. He'll gesture at the birthday card. He does seem to have a soft spot for her, doesn't she?
Came to her rescue right along with Charlie.
Interesting.
If he doesn't actually care about her as a person, she's useful to him. And that could be just as hurtful.
I do have to admit, Mama, I envy your wit and lovely mind. You always impress.
That's what I do.
Thank you so much, Mama. I do love our conversations. All the hugs and kisses.
Hugs and kisses, dear. And then it goes quiet. What is on Nicholas's mind in this moment?
Nick, before the conversation ends, is wondering how to best utilize Bella. Either to trap Al or to just get the information and be rid of him. He's considered finding that big weapon of theirs. But as he comes back, the frustrations come back. The fury, the anger, the exhaustion comes back. As again, he's should be feeling what he's feeling, which is a headache. And I would say, with your permission, I'd say this time he's noticed, to an extent, the passage of time.
Sure.
At least a little bit. Though, at the moment, he puts it up to just being so focused, he lost track. Though, in his mind, he's lighted on an idea of maybe some anti-spider imagery being painted around town, shall I say. And once more, he'll pick up the phone and text Matt. I have an idea. How would you like to spread your art around town? And but after that, he'll just go back to perusing everything. In the back of his mind, just thinking, I wonder what we could do with Bella. And it just sticks. And sometimes, just sometimes, he's wondering how much pain Al could take before he started just speaking the truth.
And with that, we'll bring this to a close. There's just a few more moments, and we will see what Matthew's up to. And welcome back. Last we left off following Nick, and now we are going to see what Matthew is up to. If you would like to introduce yourself again for us.
Hello, I'm Lekar, and I am playing the well-dressed ne'er-do-well Matthew Halden, a Toreador.
Thank you very much. And what is Matthew getting up to this evening?
Matthew is currently at Night Bloom Studios, and he is just messing around with the painting. But there's nagging things on his mind. And so he decides he's going to go plan a family conversation. So he's going to get himself a Bat's taxi and get himself to De Noche.
Okay. Do you make any kind of reach out ahead of time, or are you just heading straight on over?
He's just going to head straight on over. He's full of audacity today.
I see. Just a moment. Oh, I need you to load faster than that. I'm sorry, hang on. There we go. Give me a wits and awareness as you arrive.
Just 2.
Last time you were here, there was a pretty sizable amount of activity. You could clearly see people having fun on the inside, people outside. And for it being in like the middle of the week, you expected to see very much the same, except when you arrive, the lights are dim. You don't see anyone inside or the typical line outside. It looks like it might be just closed for the evening.
Huh.
You do notice, however, what looks like there might be some movement inside. You see the slightest hint of a silhouette moving behind into the building.
He's gonna make his way around back.
Okay. Yeah, as you make your way around back, you find that there is like an exterior door. Looks like where staff might hang out to smoke or step outside. Outside of that, it looks you're still not finding any more evidence of activity. It looks like the building is closed down for the evening. There's not any cars really parked nearby.
Is there any kind of cameras or anything pointed?
Yeah, I'd say there's a camera.
He's going to take out his phone and he's going to text Carmen. You at your place? You busy?
As you send out the text, we will transition the scene a little bit. If our guests will please introduce themselves.
Hi, I am Nikki, also known as Crafty Mirage, one of the storytellers here on St. Pete by Night, and I will be playing Carmen Alvarez tonight.
Carmen, you receive a text.
She will text back, I can be there shortly. Why don't you let yourself in?
He gets that. Oh. You said the magic words. So, he's going to check what kind of security they have on that door.
Okay, how close are you going to get to make the observation?
As close as I can to it.
Okay, fair enough. Give me... Call it wits and investigation. Three. I think I will also ask for an intelligence and tech. You can do wits and tech.
agree on that as well.
Okay. The door, it is, it's better than like a gas station's lock that you might encounter, but it's not the most advanced that you've personally dealt with. As for like the security camera, you're not the most versed in the different form of electronics or technology that go into some of these more sophisticated systems. You can tell it looks like a pretty decent camera compared to most clubs or other places you've been to, but you're not sure how good it is.
Well, normally, if it were anybody else, he would want to disable the camera, but no, he wants to show off for Carmen. So he's just going to try to get into this building while the camera's on him.
Okay. Give me Dex and Larceny.
I'll also say that you would have received a text in the interim saying, go ahead and just head to my office.
Lockpicking specialty on this one?
Yes, absolutely.
I'll take 6.
6. I did forget to mention, however, your 3 successes in your wits and tech. I say we'll cover it. You found that there was an electronic security system, which with your roll, I'll say you, for the most part, were able to bypass to access the space. How many on the Dex and Larceny again?
6.
Easy enough. As you are playing with the lock, it very quickly clicks open. With the security system shut off, the door does not trigger any alarms as you pull the door open. Carmen, would you like to describe the interior?
So if you're coming in through the staff door, the area you are coming into looks like it used to be a restaurant kitchen that has been refurbished to serve as a break room now. The stove and refrigerator is still there for the staff to utilize, but other than that, a lot of the where they would normally have the food for servers to take out has been ripped out, and it has been replaced with just a table, some chairs for people to take breaks at. And there would be a door leading into the interior of the club from there. A swinging door.
As soon as he gets inside, he's going to suddenly instinctively activate Silence of Death.
Okay.
And then he's going to maneuver his way out, and if nothing stops him, he's going to make his way to Carmen's office.
Okay. Leaving from the staff area, you kind of exit out into the kind of main floor before going to the steps that you recall in order to access the office in the first place. When you enter in that open area, again, mostly empty, but you do see what you were seeing from outside. There is a Latino man in his early 30s wearing a black t-shirt and jeans. Looks like he's kind of chilling around between the dance floor and the bar, kind of moving between different areas, but doesn't seem too concerned with intruders at the moment. He hasn't been made aware of your presence. How do you wish to approach?
Now it's pretty much from that door is just the open dance floor.
It's a dance floor and bar area.
There are tables down there though, right?
There's what?
Tables down there?
Yeah, they're like by the windows, but like they're like those tall bar tables with like the tall stools. Not meant for like actually dining on, but like having drinks on.
He is going to try to stealth past the guy.
Please give me a dex and stealth.
Three.
As you are, for the most part, pretty gracefully maneuvering through the space, utilizing the tables to give you some cover where you can. You're getting close to the end of the space between where you came from and the steps going to where the office is. When the man kind of perks up, something seemed to have caught his attention. He looks over at the tables. They seem to, looks like maybe you might have accidentally shifted one, and he noticed the minute difference that created. As he begins looking around, give me one more dex and stealth to try to avoid his vision.
Six with a critical.
As he begins to investigate where the table was, begins kind of very quickly, he almost seems to assess the path that you took. Not that you necessarily left any clues, but almost like he's calculating how this might have happened if there was something that wasn't supposed to be here. And as he begins to move and it begins to shift into your direction, you very quickly kind of maneuver up the stairs and out of sight. Fast enough that he does not see you in time in just the moment that he turns toward where the stairs are. You're now in the upper area where you first met Jackal and where you were first called on to meet Carmen. Her office in line of sight.
So then he will quickly and quietly make his way over to her office door.
Okay. Do you go in?
Yes.
Okay. As you open the door, go ahead.
Go ahead and give a dex and athletics.
Ooh, spending a willpower on that one. Four.
So as you come in, you hear a thunk in the door frame. Beside, like right by, like just past your ear. And like you turn to look and you see a knife deeply embedded into the door frame. And Carmen is just sitting on top of her desk, already holding another knife, legs crossed, and just smirking at you.
Nice shot, but you ruined the door.
It's fine. I can have it replaced.
Well, better it than me, I suppose.
Can I help you, Matthew?
God, I hope so.
Coming in on a day that I'm closed, didn't even bother to check the schedule. Or hours of operation.
Yeah. I figured this was kind of important enough to warrant a conversation. And I got what I wanted out of it, so... Pretty good stuff, though.
Yeah. I'll need to re-educate Felix, though. Have a seat.
Thank you. It's not his fault. New skill set. Gave me the upper edge.
New skill set?
Picked up a trick from Nick.
Something... Well, I don't know. I saw you on... I can see you on camera, so... Wouldn't have known if you had just poofed away. So what's your question, Matthew? How can I help you tonight?
So he's just gonna sit back in the chair. You've been in the city for a while now, right?
Relatively decent amount of time. I've seen 2 princes.
Good, because one of them is... What do you know about Edwin?
Edwin? That's a name that doesn't come up often. What about him? Why so interested in Edwin, of all people?
It could be nothing. It could just be my paranoia from years of... Anyway. So, he had us do something for him a few nights ago, and... we finished the job. I brought it back to him. And now, I don't pretend to know exactly what all any of us can do. But he did some weird shit to this thing. And that's not so much the problem as what he did after.
What weird shit did he do?
Well, he kind of shattered something without really touching it.
Okay.
But it was the weird hoodoo-looking shit that was around him that was the concerning part.
Hoodoo-looking shit?
Like, I don't know, it was some weird Peter Pan shadowy bullshit it looked like.
Okay, and why are you concerned over it?
That's, again, wasn't the weird part. It's what he did afterwards that kind of got me rubbed the wrong way.
What'd he do?
The thing that was inside the thing we got for him?
Mm-hmm.
If it's important enough to hide in a statue, I wouldn't nonchalantly just put it in my pocket and say, oh, we'll take care of this later.
What did he put in his pocket?
Some sort of weird ring-looking thing.
What kind, like, you gotta help me out here. Did the ring look specific or something?
I remember what it looked like, didn't I, Beara? I saw what it looked like.
Yeah. It was like 2 gold bands that were kind of like intertwined with each other, and on one side of it there was what appeared to look like a spider. And the back of the spider had like a gem socketed into it.
Yeah, it was this weird, kind of nice looking, but weird spider looking ring.
Huh. What did the statue look like?
He kind of, the picture of Isabel's still on her desk, right?
Yes, it always is.
He kind of just glances over towards the picture and then back.
Wow, the audacity of her. So I actually know what ring that is. And I see what. Okay, so did you know that Isabel had an adopted child?
No. Unfortunately, the whole reason for me to come here was to talk to her, but she was already gone when I got here.
Yeah. Well, they had a falling out. This woman liked to call herself the Black Widow of Spain. And she had this like spider ring, and when Isabel basically told her she misbehaved, and Isabel told her to leave. So, when she got when she got the orders from her adopted sire to leave the city and go be an emissary or whatever in Edinburgh, I don't know. But her childer, after giving a lot of attitude and shade during Elysium and during court proceedings, threw the ring at her. And it was a spider ring.
Why hide it in a statue? I mean, smuggling is one thing, but that just seems odd.
I feel like where did you find this statue?
You keep up with the news?
Kind of.
Did you see the one about the art gallery that caught fire?
Was that you guys?
Not technically.
Well, technically. Hypothetically, did you have anything to do with it?
I had nothing to do with it. I was on the roof trying to get off the roof with the statue while it was on fire.
That's the gallery run by that Victor dude, right?
Yeah, and he's probably really pissed off right now, but,
All right. Let's circle back. Why are you concerned about Edwin taking the ring?
It was the action of it. He made it seem like whatever was inside was, like, gravely important to the prince.
Yeah, what person wants to acknowledge that that a family heirloom was stolen, especially a prince,
Okay.
especially from the rowdy child. Well,
That's
rowdy is a kind word. I would call it the slutty child.
fair. I don't know. It just, if I'm gonna smuggle something and have somebody bring it to me, I'm not going to just put it in my pocket afterwards. That just seemed sus to me. Again,
What is he gonna do with it? Is he gonna put it on his hand? It's not sized for him.
that's true. I mean, not that I've really, pay attention to his hands, but
Look, Edwin's a decent guy. He's discreet. I've had to work with him a few times. He I don't like break. You know the verandas incident that happened sometime a couple years ago?
I don't think I'm familiar with those.
It was a mess, but we had some Sabat just chilling in an apartment or like a housing community. And Edwin helped out with that. He helped us eliminate the Sabat and everything. He's actually been very helpful to the city. He's been nothing but loyal to us and helps us kind of clean up messes a little quietly. Mainly because, I think it's because, no one really pays attention to him. It's just easier for him to just quietly get things done. He's the blandest guy in House Tremere. I have never had any issues with him. He does what he's told. He's just kind of chilled there. Does his due diligence. And, pretty chill guy. Now, I will say that Victor guy, that's what I'm worried about now. How the hell did he get that fucking ring? Tell me about him. You seem to know more about him. All I know is that he doesn't seem to have good taste in art.
No. Our other mutual Toreador. That is a whole other can of worms.
What's going on with Grei?
Grei has the most... Grei's got it bad for him.
What's Victor like? Have you met him?
No. Which is why I was able to get away with what I did, because the whole point was to never see him, and him never to see me.
Huh.
But
This guy seems to have come out of fucking nowhere and has been making quite a stir amongst our clan specifically. And tell me more about Grei. Tell me more about Grei. What's Grei like? He hasn't been back since that first night I met you guys, and I'm a little hurt by it.
yeah, I know, and I've told him, and, he chooses to ignore it. That's not on me. Grei likes to take risks. He will do things. I don't know if it's just his way of trying to feel alive again or not, but he does shit he shouldn't be doing. And right now, that thing is Victor.
And you and your friends, your coterie, right? What's their perception of this Victor dude?
Pretty much that it's none of our business what he does, but if he wants to try to save him or whatever he's doing, because I've seen his work.
Yeah, it's basically torture porn.
Yeah, that about sums it up.
All right, so I've looked into him a little bit, just a little bit, just because you talk shit about my work. I'm gonna find out who you are. But I'm worried, frankly. I think he's trying to make some plays in the city that are a little concerning.
What kind of place?
Okay. So he kind of around COVID, he started kind of getting this online cult following, and just in general, just he has a cult following basically. But the thing I noticed is that I can't find anything on his models after he's done whatever he's done to them. And the stuff he's doing in those photos is very unhinged, and I mean, the Toreador can be pretty graphic, but not that graphic. And how he moves so frequently. It's just concerning, especially. I keep tabs here in the neutral zone with my club. A few months ago, I found out about a Toreador in the Anarch territories. At least I think he's a Toreador. But I'm pretty sure he was modeled for Victor. And I've heard that he was part of a coterie up there that kind of got in trouble for breaching the Masquerade. Don't know the full details, but they had to be punished for it. And I learned through some sleuthing They couldn't find Brighton after the punishment sentencing was done. Frankly, now I'm worried about Grei. What if Grei's next? How long till Grei disappears?
Oh, we won't let that happen.
I don't want to see any of the roses disappear. This is a Toreador city. Hell, most of the barons up north are Toreador. How long till Grei disappears? How long till he tries to come after one of the other Toreadors in the city, like yourself, or maybe one of the barons, or myself? I'm worried, frankly. I think this Victor is trouble. And I don't want to say outright accuse him of being the S word, but he gives me S word vibes.
Well, then I guess Grei trying to establish or maintain a relationship with this guy will have some benefits, and we will definitely keep an eye on him.
Here's what I need to ask you, though. Has Grei ever confided that Victor has called him a saint?
Doesn't sound familiar.
That's the word you need to be worried about. Saint. Because Brighton, this Brighton Adams dude, he was Victor's last saint. That was displayed.
Matthew, give me... give me a wits roll, but you can use your academics specialty. Or no, etiquette. We'll use etiquette. You remember in the article that you read that the name of the exhibit was the Fallen Saints. And that it does refer to the models as saints. That seems to be the theme to this tour he's going on.
I have an idea of what happens to his models after. And it's usually because there's nothing left to find.
You need to... If Grei has got his attention obsession on Victor, you need to help him, because look, I know that things in the Kindred Society are very cutthroat, but one thing Isabel taught me in my time with her is that plan is everything. Every Toreador is important. Every rose is important, but if one of those roses is overgrowing and it's not making room in the garden and destroying and killing the others, it needs to be dealt with. And I like Grei. I don't want to see anything bad happen to him.
She sounds a lot like Elena. She had that same mentality. Had no problem cultivating and definitely no problem doing any kind of weeding.
Isabel was definitely special, and I miss her every day still. I learned a lot from her. But one thing I definitely want is for her dream in this city to thrive. And I don't think that this victor has any intention of allowing Isabel's dream to continue to thrive. I think that this victor is here to harm it. The bust alone, that's such a fucking move. The only way to get to the thing inside, the little family embarrassing secret, is to destroy an effigy of her. How much more of a slap in the face can that be to the bloodline? To her and her family? To her child or her grandchild or to those that cared about her?
That's a good point.
Yeah, I don't like this man.
Oh, trust me.
And now I'm very worried about Grei now, especially since this Brighton guy went missing.
We will keep as close an eye on him as possible. And if we can find a way to trim this rose for good, won't be a problem.
Is there anything else I can help you with, Matthew?
No, Miss Alvarez, you have been an absolute blossom today.
Anything for a cousin?
Thank you for helping with that. When you have people that are really close to you, literally, well, not literally, but almost literally stab you in the back, you start to question when people do things that are close to you.
You see the slightest twitch from the corner of her eye. I know that all too well.
But thank you for putting me at ease on that one. So now I won't have to worry about causing problems for anybody.
Yeah.
At least none that I can avoid, if possible.
Be careful and watch yourself with this guy. Remember, we're pretty, but we're clever. And I don't doubt that he's clever as well.
He's not as smart as he thinks he is. But,
Arrogance usually does that to a person.
Oh, and I love to exploit arrogance, let me tell you.
I'll let Felix know to not mind you coming out.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I mean,
And if
all that work coming in, I would hate to have a problem getting out.
Yeah. And all that, and if you ever need anything from me, or you or your coterie, or if you just need to straight up have an intervention for Grei, let me know.
Hopefully not, but you will be the first to know, trust me. Well, you'll be the second to know. But you'll be on the list.
Of course. Have a good day, Matthew.
You as well, Carmen. And he will get up and find his way out.
What is on Matthew's mind as you leave De Noche?
Well, if he could relax his shoulders anymore, he would melt into the floor because that's put him at ease on that at least with Edwin. But he's rethinking the whole Victor and Grei relationship. And she has a very good point that if he does this to a lot of people and he's seen his work, how much time before Grei is next on the next one to be a model? So he's going to try to covertly keep tabs on Grei and try to make him understand that this is a bad idea.
And where does he go? Where does he go from here?
He's gonna go back to the studio and attempt to finish the work he was doing.
Very well. We will pick up from there next time. Thank you all for sitting in on these personal expanded stories. We'll be doing these more frequently moving forward. Next week, we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming. Thank you all, and we will see you in the next chapter.
This has been a St. Petersburg by Night production. Bloody Strings is produced in agreement with the World of Darkness and Dark Pack. The storyteller for Bloody Strings is Beara. Tonight's characters were voiced by Noree, Kyrie, Lekar, and Truckexe. Visit our website at stpbnight.com for more information about all of our productions and how you can become a part of our community. Thank you for listening. Until next time, fangs, stakes, and claws out.